God is love, and God has great plans for us if we surrender ourselves to Him. Great plans God has. God is lover, and He's creator, and His plans for us are deeply creative and for our good. St. Ignatius describes that experience of God, and in these words, he talks about what God's plans are and how much God wishes to work in us. He says there are few persons, perhaps none, who thoroughly understand how much we obstruct God when He desires to work in us, and all that He would do for us if we did not hinder Him. Few, almost, he says perhaps no one understands how much you and I are obstructing God when He desires to do great things in us. You and I are obstructions. We're meant to say our yes to God, like Mary did, but instead we give obstructions and reasons or false reasons, and we get distracted from where we really need to be. We obstruct Him when He desires to work in us, and all that He would do for us if we didn't hinder Him, it's phenomenal. It's amazing what God would do for us if we didn't hinder Him. God has great plans for us, for God is love. He is mighty, mighty to save, and a great lover. He also says this: we much sooner weary of receiving God's gifts than He of giving. Wow, that is an amazing insight, huh? You and I tire of receiving the gifts before He tires of giving. That is amazing. So it's almost like God wants us to keep an open hands to where we can receive more and more, both hands open and receiving, receptive. That's the true human being, the true Marian yes, and we're all called to be like Mary in this. He desires so much for us and those open hands. But instead of open hands, we almost like put this umbrella over us to shield us from all those graces that God wants to rain down and permeate into us. It's an amazing thing. So God has these great desires for us, and yet we obstruct Him, and He would do so much in us if we would but let Him. We would tire of His receiving than He of giving. God is giver because God is lover, and love always wants to give. God has great plans for you. God has great plans for me. God has great plans for all of us. But those plans are only thwarted by our lack of generosity to receive. It's not about necessarily giving. What can I give back to God? The most thing I can give to God is an open hands, is an open heart. That's the best gift I can give to God, is an open heart to receive whatever He has in store for me, to receive His gifts, to savor His gifts. The Blessed Mother savored all the gifts she was giving. Who do you know who savors their gifts and is very grateful? They spend their day in gratitude. I had a friend from Australia who's a recent convert, and he gave me this very wise advice. I can learn from everyone. It's wonderful. And he said, when you wake up in the morning, he didn't say it so specifically. He was talking about his own experience, but I took it as, yeah, this is what I need to do too, is I usually wake up in the morning and make a morning offering. That's a fine idea. But he had a better idea. He said, I begin with words of gratitude. I just thank God for one thing after another. I just enter into this experience of gratitude and let that permeate this gratitude of how graced I am. That's what the word gratitude means, how blessed I am. And I'm filled with blessing. And let that be my first cognizant thought, my first thought as I wake up in the morning, how blessed I am. What a beautiful thing. That gratitude will open me up the rest of the day to receive other gifts. And He has a whole plethora of gifts that are prepared for this day. And in fact, even the good things we can do, it says in Ephesians that those are good works that God has already prepared for us to walk in them. He's already prepared those good works. We're just supposed to walk in them. It's not like you and I have to come up with some beautiful things to do for God today. He's already prepared those ahead of time. We're just to walk in those. And that is an experience of gratitude too, that God lets us walk in those works of gratitude. Let us not tire then of receiving God's gifts. Let us really ask God for the grace to open up our hearts, our souls, our hands, our minds, everything we are, to receive those wonderful gifts He has in store for us. We thank God for His great love, and we ask that, Lord, no longer let us obstruct Your plans in us, but let us receive and cherish Your great gifts. God bless you.